The president warns the most critical time will come next year, when the economic stimulus begins to fade. G20 leaders work together to try and settle on financial reforms. Sometimes they make headway. 8 years after 9/11, Tom Ridge finally speaks out about the politics behind the terror alert system. Tonight's one of the former president's first public speeches since he left office back in January, and it's one of the fastest and biggest sellouts for. It's the promise that propelled Barack Obama into the White House. But is it really happening? Some lawmakers say the president's timetable doesn't leave enough room for debate. Thousands of delegates are looking forward to a politically star-studded night of speeches. I'm talking Michelle Obama and maybe even an appearance by Senator Ted Kennedy. Vice President Joe Biden just took the stage behind me here at Seneca High School. John McCain's political career. 8 years ago, he made a run for the White House. Please explain to voters why you both insist on, airing negative campaign ads. If we have to go back to the drawing board again, how can we know that it's not going to take us another 4 months? We're the last state without a budget.
Well, Jacqueline,
people in the news want to talk about some of their favorite places to eat.
Well, if you need a lunch date, Charles Santini's your man. Crank up the music and a Texas toddler does what comes naturally. Check out this kid. Pittsburgh is being called the city that got it right. So what's going on here, and does Erie have the potential to get it right too? They're trying to prevent a global economic catastrophe, and they're doing it right in our backyard. Just over 30 world leaders are arriving in Pittsburgh for the G20 summit. And at this time, when the financial world is plagued with problems, they have their work cut out for them.
What's going on inside the hall is very important. What they're doing here is basically making decisions that are going to affect the design of the international financial system and also move the international economy in the direction of recovery.
President Obama says Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania stands as a bold example of how a city can create new jobs and industries while moving into the 21st century. So it got us thinking, could Erie, Pennsylvania, sometimes known as Pittsburgh's sister city, make those same changes? Could we move from an old manufacturing city to one that's booming with innovation? At one time, Erie was bustling with big industry. Now many of those old factories sit empty, leaving workers looking for a new start. And some local entrepreneurs are providing just that. They're pushing new information, engineering, and scientific technologies. Like Tom Stankiewicz, this retired Erie Bomb Squad commander owns a company that provides video mapping of building interiors, a valued service for Homeland Security, public safety, airlines, and even the real estate industry.
Well, I would say right now we're a company that consists of the owners. A year from now it can easily be a company with 15 people. 2 years from now it can easily be a company with 50.
Those working to replace lost jobs in our community aren't alone.
Erie has all the ingredients to do what Pittsburgh is saying they're doing and more. And as someone who has worked in various communities, the ingredients are here for that success.
So while world leaders in Pittsburgh are trying to solve the many economic problems we face, innovators back in Erie are working to show that we can be part of the solution. The president's hoping Pittsburgh, a city that's transformed itself, can be a powerful example of what needs to happen throughout our nation and the world. Leaders meeting here are charged with figuring out just how to do that. In Pittsburgh at the G20 summit, Jacqueline Policastro reporting. The U.S. economy continues to shed jobs and is turning into a political problem for the president, even though Obama maintains that his policies are keeping the American economy afloat. Workers in Erie continue to get laid off, see their hours trimmed, and their wages cut. So what's the next big fix for Erie's economy? That question has our lawmakers in Washington working overtime.
I want my children and grandchildren to be able to raise a family, have a good job in the district, and that was really one of the big motivators for me running. Of course, we're in the worst economic times that we've ever seen since the Great Depression, and I've been working closely with the businesses.
Del Kemper thinks the runway extension project is key to more development, and she says she's in talks with General Electric to find ways to help their business survive in Erie. Erie's jobless rate is close to 10%, and right now, nearly a quarter of Erie residents earn less than the federal poverty standard. That's just under $11,000 a year. So the big question, are lawmakers here on Capitol Hill prescribing to the president's plan for getting Americans back to work? Obama wants another extension of unemployment benefits and tax credits for first-time homebuyers and for laid-off workers to buy health insurance. Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey agrees, but points to things like trade policy and health care reform as well.
Part of this also is workforce development. We have to make sure that at the federal level we're doing everything possible to get employers working in a community to develop longer-term economic opportunities for jobs that people can have in places like Erie and northwestern Pennsylvania.
There is speculation in Washington that Obama wants to move forward with a second stimulus plan, and some lawmakers have a lot of angst about that. They think the original $787 billion stimulus isn't working, and they have plans of their own.
It's got to be in the area of small business tax cuts. We know that 75% of all jobs are created through small businesses, and if we allow them to hold on to a little bit more of their money, they're going to be able to invest that back into their own business, hire another worker, add another addition onto their facility, buy some computer technology, but things that will spur the economy forward a little bit.
While lawmakers say they're working on ways to get Americans back to work, the president warns the most critical time will come next year, when the economic stimulus begins to fade. In Washington, Jacqueline Policastro reporting.